Welcome to our series, Exploring Esoteric Secret Societies. Through this series, we'll examine and challenge our current mindsets and understanding of esoteric teachings, and take an opportunity to do a deep dive into the importance to explore and review ancient knowledge and wisdom. The traditions of all mystery schools throughout time have been held together by a common thread, a common order of the wisdom knowledge keepers, known from our current post-Atlantean epoch as the Rosicrucian order. Now, even today, their knowledge is practiced by initiates with various organizations, such as the Masons, the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, and modern-day members of the Rosicrucian order. The Rosicrucian order is a philosophical and educational organization, not a religion. The Rosicrucians are mystics of enlightenment. They were a legendary and historical secret society that emerged in the 17th century Europe, claiming to possess esoteric wisdom and the power to reform religion, science, and the arts. Their origins are centuries old. While their existence is debated, the Rosicrucian movement had a significant impact on intellectual occult thought. They believe in secret wisdom traditionally passed down through ancient times that can transform humanity. By revealing hidden knowledge about the universe, the spiritual realm, and the natural world, they combine elements of occultism, Hermeticism, Jewish mysticism, and Christian Gnosticism. Key beliefs include the importance of spiritual advancement, selfless service, and the study of natural laws to live in harmony with them. Centuries ago, they were actually alchemists who used alchemy as an allegory for refining their qualities for the more dense to the more refined. In themselves, it's about personal transformation. Their core beliefs and practices begin with spiritual enlightenment, the pursuit of divine knowledge through transformation and mystical experiences. Alchemy as a metaphor, not just turning lead into gold, but refining the soul, transmuting ignorance into wisdom. Unity of science and spirit, they champion the harmony between scientific inquiry and spiritual insight, a concept that resonates deeply with modern holistic approaches. They also believed in universal brotherhood, emphasized compassion, interconnectedness, and service to humanity. Geometric light codes and symbols, as well as sound and light through the mystical semiotics. How does this influence modern spirituality? Rosicrucianism has profoundly shaped contemporary spiritual movements. It's through New Age philosophies, holistic healing, and even quantum spirituality. The Rosicrucians' view of the universe as a web of vibrational energies aligns with modern ideas about consciousness and the interconnectedness of all life. In a world increasingly hungry for meaning beyond materialism, Rosicrucians' ideals offer a timeless path, one of inner alchemy, cosmic harmony, and the sacred quest for truth. Welcome everyone to Andromeda 7, your celestial gateway. It's good to have everybody back. We are continuing our series, Exploring Esoteric Secret Societies, Part 3. And our very own Nick Doss is leading the discussion with this series. It's been fascinating. We're loving it and enjoying it. We hope you are too. It's good to see everybody in chat. Let's go ahead and say hello to everybody. Lucky Stone comes in at number 1 tonight. He is leading the chat.
One.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mary Wins, always a pleasure, my dear. Love seeing you here. Elderberry, wonderful to see you as well. Jean-Paul Baptiste, good to see you, brother. Let's see who else. We have Jackie J. Welcome. Always good to see you in the chat as well. And let's see, we've got Chloe. Good to see you. I saw your video on some of your crystals. I really like those big dark circle for like scrying it. That is really cool. I might have to contact you about that. Although I'm running out of places to put my crystals, but I'm loving every one of them, and I've got lots of them. So if you guys are interested in any crystals, go to Chloe's website. I'll pop that up for you. Yeah.
Wonderful, Barry. His dog's cancer has reduced and he's doing well. Yay!
That's good.
Oh,
Yay,
that's
Barry.
Awesome.
Oh, you know what? Jasmine helped Chloe make the website, yeah?
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that. That's the way to go. Yeah, community effort. Love it. Yep, support each other. Elizabeth Bauer.
Brother Brian and Sophia,
Yep.
They know.
Yep. Thank you. Elizabeth Bauer, it's good to see you. Wonderful, wonderful.
We know where your dad is, don't we, Liz?
He's working. Yes, Brian's working. Yeah. Steve Bow, always a pleasure, my friend. Good to see you as well. Hope things are going well in the classroom and those kids are minding themselves. Awesome. And I think I've got Dolly. Very good to see you, Dolly. Right on. Cool. Well, everybody's class is in session. We're all here. We're ready to hear what Nick's got to present this week. I'm absolutely loving it. So we are all yours, Nick.
All right, cool.
I will go ahead and get started with this. We good to go, everybody?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. Let me add your stuff to the stage. Give me just a second here. There we are.
Exploring Esoteric.
Let me remove that. I need to add this one. There we go. That's the right one. Mm-hmm. Okay.
So before I start, I would like to say if you're new to the series, make sure you go watch episode 1. Because, I mean, you can chill in the live with us as you see fit, but it might get a little confusing if you jump midway into the learning. So
start at the beginning.
Yeah, the Rosicrucians are good at keeping it chronologically in order.
And just to remind the audience, there is a playlist. You can go right to the playlist. I add them every time one has been uploaded. I add it to the playlist. So 1 and 2 is there. 3 will be there after this is over tonight. Yep. All right, Nick.
All right. So let's begin on part 3. So part 7, the planes of consciousness. The 6th aphorism states, as life is the essence of spirit, so is consciousness the essence of life. Spirit is one, yet it manifests in many forms of life. Life is one, yet it manifests in many forms of consciousness. While the forms of manifested consciousness are innumerable, yet the wise know consciousness to manifest on 7 planes. And these planes of consciousness are known to the wise as, number 1, the plane of the elements, 2, the plane of the minerals, 3, the plane of the plants, 4, the plane of the animals, 5, the plane of the human, 6, the plane of the demi-gods, 7, the plane of the gods. The Rosicrucian is now directed to apply their attention to the concept of the life consciousness manifesting on its 7 planes. Rosicrucians used a link chain of 7 circles to represent this symbolically, as is shown in figure 10. Spirit, also known as energy, must have life to be considered spirit. Consciousness, also known as your mind, is the essence of life. I'm confident at this point, these symbols in order are starting to show both people of religion and science what the story is representing at a simple and grand scale of life. And if you dive even deeper, like a good occultist would, then you would know even more on the symbolism. Everything is not just alive, but also conscious. This knowledge can make people who have only half the knowledge to this concept fall into a trap. People versed in psychology are even more susceptible to this trap if they aren't yet at a master level of understanding. Consciousness isn't just something you or me has. Everything that is lower and higher than us has it as well. From the previous episode, you would know this implies what the half-wise calls inorganic is a part of this truth. No such thing as inorganic. Everything is organic. The word that describes this to the best of its ability is awareness. Depending on what plane you are currently on, shows how much awareness you currently have. A rock will have less awareness than a human, but both have a level of consciousness regardless.
So there are levels of consciousness. It's not just you are or you aren't, but there are 7 levels, you're saying?
Yes.
Okay.
7 gets brought up a lot in this.
Yeah.
So 7 upon 7 upon 7 upon 7. So 7 is an important number throughout many teachings of creation. Rosicrucianism states consciousness manifests on these 7. Each plane can blend into the other 2 it is interlinked with. My theory is that this shows depending on karmic debts or gains, you can evolve or devolve. This 7 cycle is represented in a lot of ways too, like the 7 days of the archangels, or like 7 days of the week, and so on. If you studied tarot like me, you would also know 7 is symbolic for self. And some food for thought. Within each plane is 7 subplanes. Within each subplane are 7 minor planes, and so on until the multiplication is made 7 times. So the plane of human, for example, is one part of the main 7. But within that plane, there's 7 more. And then within those 7, each of them have 7 more. And within those 7, they have 7 more. And it keeps going 7 times.
You know, this is interesting. In numerology, number 7 symbolizes the spiritual seeker, the deep thinker, and the analyst who's driven by a quest for knowledge, truth, and inner wisdom. And individuals strongly influenced by the 7 are often introspective, independent, and enjoy solitude as they need space to for contemplation, which really puts this into perspective because it's the language of the universe. Math is the language of the universe. So this is quite interesting to me, how that correlation. Cool.
Yep, I thought it was interesting.
Yeah.
So each of the 7 planes of consciousness is given the name in the following synopsis of the teaching, and the core characteristics are given. So the first plane, we've gone over a little bit. The first 5 we've gone over a little bit already, but I'm gonna name them all.
Refresher.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the first one is the plane of the elements. On this plane of consciousness are manifested the actions and reactions of subtle entities, which is what all forms of matter are composed of. This is where the play of atoms, electrons, protons, ions, corpuscles, and even further back substances like ether that science hasn't acknowledged fully yet, but the occult recognizes it plenty. Science knows that any physical force or energy as light, heat, electricity, magnetism, and so on arises from vibrations of these particles. This vibration is, of course, from these particles moving all over the place, doing the dance of attraction and repulsion. This is an elementary form of choosing between liking and disliking, which is a fundamental for feeling and will. To the occultists, this is the plane where magic comes from. We move matter not by a force of will and mind, but instead acting upon the consciousness of the material atoms by the power of our own consciousness. So yes, we don't. When you're manifesting magic, you're not forcing it to act a certain way. You are catering to its nature to get a result that you want out of it.
And attracting it, yeah.
Yes.
Like a magnet, like the positive and negative ends of a battery, you're attracting that energy.
Yep, like attracts like.
Yep.
The subplanes and so on are important variables on how to master this. Science doesn't understand this yet, while the occult master does, since they study what they are. So apparently, Rosicrucians are claiming that if you start deep diving into the plane of the elements and figuring out their subplanes, you can actually start doing that type of elemental magic or that type of alchemy and stuff like that. I've been looking, haven't found it yet, but I will. It's not in this book, but I'll find it. The plane of the minerals. This plane manifests the action and reactions of minerals and metals. These mineral compounds behave like the elements, choosing likes and dislikes to create. Crystallization is no different to atomic alchemy. There is just more matter combined in unison, which helps grow something new. The student must remember there are minerals much more gross than we are familiar with, like dark matter, as well as finer than what we can find by normal means. True alchemists know the importance to understanding a mineral or metal consciousness, as you will be able to achieve transformations that are not possible through normal chemistry or mechanical methods of treating metals. So when they tell me this, my prior knowledge of knowing things tells me this is them hinting at things like the emerald tablet, because people claim it's made out of an alloy that we haven't been able to replicate yet, and some reason it doesn't scratch, it doesn't break, doesn't erode, etc. Electrum is another good example. Electrum is it's naturally made by the earth, but Earth's an alchemist, so it should be told, it should be said, and it's also another hint to this. Electrum is a mix of gold and silver, naturally.
Mm-hmm.
Then you got orichalcum, which is supposedly a super rare metal that some people claim they have a little bit of it, but it's so rare that some don't even think it exists. The philosopher's stone, or the fifth element that alchemy goes into about, that is supposed to be the mineral substance that's supposed to prolong human life. Or Ormus, which is what this screenshot is from. Dalibor did a whole episode about it.
Yes, we remember.
Yep.
That's good to see his face.
Yeah, and he's holding some right there.
Yes.
So
I actually took that in the very beginning when I was having my awakening. That was one of the things I decided to take. I ordered it off of Amazon, and it does help. Supposedly what it does is it decalcifies the pineal gland so that your connection is stronger.
Yep.
Yeah. There is one question for you, Nick. Jean Paul's asking, the planes are dimensions?
Okay, so everything that we're talking about is in the same dimension. Which dimension we're talking about is the material world. Everything within that cosmic egg. Right now, they are showing the evolution of the pieces of flame that are inside this egg, how they grow. No different between how, like, a baby in the womb, gets born, turns into an adolescent, teenager, adult, elder, and so on. It's kind of the same principle, just at it's at more of a macrocosm level.
Okay.
Than just one individual.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Teresa has a question.
What?
Well, I see it more as like a state of awareness. They're, rather than different dimensions, they're actually all within, and they're just different degrees of awareness.
Yeah.
Levels of attainment, you think?
Yeah.
Okay.
So basically,
yeah.
Another way you can look at it is that it's like a maturity thing. So it's consciousness maturing. As it goes into the next plane, it's maturing more. It's unlocking more awareness. So yeah, the plant isn't going to have as much awareness as the animal, but eventually those plants will evolve. That same energy that's in the plant will evolve into something more complex like an animal, and that's how it keeps going with all the planes until you reach the godhood stage.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's kind of an initiation as well, because you have to get through all of those before you can be human.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which makes sense. The universe is intelligent. Consciousness is pure intelligence.
Oh, yeah. At this point, I just see this whole reality as like an embryo at this point, and we're just growing.
Well, just as we have different levels of energy within the human body through the chakra, we also have that parallel spinal cord link with what, the source, God's source energy coming in. And so as you reach different levels of awareness, you become more and more closer to the frequency and vibration of higher levels of consciousness, higher levels of the knowledge and wisdom that were built into the Akashic record. You start tapping into that. You start making contact with other aspects of the oneness, whether it be through an angelic contact or whatever it is you connect to that's already been through levels of initiation. So you boost your consciousness up and up and up. You never leave the human body. You don't go into another dimension. It's all coming from deep within. Your ability to connect as you grow and expand consciously, become more aware of these entities and other aspects. It's just as your understanding grows, you expand.
Yeah.
So your conscious awareness puts you in a higher plane of thought, puts you in a higher plane of action.
A good example I can think of is how you actually remembered a past life of being a rock. So Teresa, as you see now, Teresa, as you see now, was a dolphin and a rock at one point. She's still the same person. That was just a different stage of her consciousness growing.
Right.
Yes. Yeah.
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 That's fascinating, isn't it? Don't you think that's fascinating?
Oh, yeah.
And you never know. I could have been a mushroom, Lucky.
Don't eat me. Don't eat me.
I'll give you a trip. I'll show you some spiritual awareness.
Oh, that's funny.
That's fun, yeah. All right. So after the plane of minerals, the next stage is the plane of plants. On this plane is where the actions and reactions of the protoplasmic cells, which plants are composed of. Diatoms are on the lower pole of this plane, bordering with the plane of minerals. As mentioned, planes that are linked have the ability to blend. Diatoms being a good example, as they belong to an order of flowerless plants, a genus of the algos, but yet are also made out of glass, a type of silica.
You know what's interesting about this is that when you get to the organic plane of existence, you're actually starting to learn what it's like to be organic, the seasons, the weather. You're being acclimated. You're being acclimated towards having a body. It's like a slow roll into it, which is kind of interesting because you're not just thrown into it, but your consciousness is experiencing the plant kingdom.
Yep.
Preparing you for a human existence, ultimately.
Yes.
That's trippy.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
And sometimes people have already gone full circle. They just decided to be a plant again or an animal again because they like doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Like one of my cats, Ace, he's an Octurian, but he came as a cat for whatever reason. Maybe because he wanted to help me out, or maybe he just wanted to be a cat. I don't know, but yeah.
Who wouldn't want to be a cat? Seriously.
I know, right? Kidding me? No rent. Get to lay around, sleep whenever
they're
you
not
want.
Here for you. You're there for them.
Right. Professor von Strom of Naples, Italy, did an experiment with the bacilli, some of the bacteria related to plants, of the Asiatic cholera. These living crystals showed growth, movement, life, and consciousness. His work shows bacteria forms the elementary stages for plants and the similar characteristics to crystals. Professor Beiser says adaptation, after all, is the best evidence of the presence of intelligence or life in forms of units of matter. So this quote makes me think of jalapenos as an example, and how they adapted to be spicy to deter animals from eating them, only for us to also adapt right back at them and start eating them and enjoying them. Plants exhibit levels of trophoses, which is taking and absorbing nutrition. Neurosis, which has to do with having a nervous system, and even psychosis, which has everything to do about having a brain and thinking. The book goes into depth of a lot of examples of how this train of thought is true, from the low scale of mineral to plant to the higher scale from plant to animal. Devil's noose and Venus flytraps being a couple of examples on the higher end on the plane of plants. So even within the planes, there is a higher end and a lower end on each one. So like something like a diatom would be considered on the low level of plants, while something that is more active and maybe even carnivorous, like Venus flytraps, they would be considered higher. So this shows that this consciousness in a Venus flytrap. They are on the cusp of turning into animal.
Yeah, fascinating. Yes.
And some of these plants, depending on the type of plant, will even have animal-like tendencies already in that they are carnivorous, or they'll have an exoskeleton similar to an insect. So
some plants even have complicated nervous systems. So
yeah, and cellular structures.
Yeah. Then after the plane of plants, we go to the plane of animals. This plane is blended into the plant plane on the lower end and human on the higher. They range from the single cells that live in the slime of the ocean, like moneron or amoebas, to more complex things like dogs and horses. It's important to note that single cell organisms resemble the cells we have, as this shows the link. White corpuscles in our blood are even called amoeboids. The book goes into detail on how these different kind of cells in animals and humans work, so this must be an important key on how this stage works, along with showing these cells have intelligence and consciousness even on their own. It also goes up the ladder from lower end to higher end animals, showing the progression of this plane's creation. So like something that's like an amoeba would be obviously on the lower end, while something like a chimpanzee who is starting to figure out how to make, culture, tools, a language, they're on the higher end. They're on the cusp of coming on the human spectrum.
Yeah. And for people that are watching and questioning some of this, it's not that far of a stretch to understand that a lot of different types of animals on this plane of consciousness are related genetically to us with the same, because they're built out of the same materials. So even a piece of fruit like a banana shares something like 80 or 90% of our DNA. So there's different animals, dogs and cats being very high in the sharing of our DNA. People used to think, we're primarily related to the chimpanzee or an orangutan. But the truth is that dogs and cats have more percentage of DNA related to us than you would imagine. So, and even ants, we found a certain degree, and worms.
Insects are involved with this plane.
Also, think of it this way: when you have a pet, a cat or a dog, you're literally, by being the human, giving them an example of what a human is. And so they're aspiring to that. So you're helping to develop their personalities and what they're going to be in the future, and what kinds of humans they're going to be.
Yeah. I'd like to just add a little sidebar to this too. And that is that even though they're in that consciousness, and I know I have a memory of being a wolf. Okay. So even though they're in this plane of conscious development, and some of us have already been there and we're now human, that's just what I believe to be true. It makes it a whole lot easier when you understand that there's a plan for every one of us, and that every one of us made a choice to be here in whatever conscious plane we want to primarily exist in. But part of us still has that empathy and connection to the other planes, so the other spirits in those planes that are going through what we've already been through. And when my Ruby passed away recently, Laurie immediately snapped me out of it by reminding me that this wasn't a soul agreement between the two of us, that we have existed together before and will go on to exist in future emanations, because we're all part of that same material. But we're just vibrating at different energy levels to bring our consciousness into a physical reality of some type of experience within these conscious planes. And so it made it easier for me to say goodbye, because it wasn't a tragedy anymore. I realized, oh my gosh, it's part of the cosmic plan.
Yep.
And she's just in a place where she needed to be to have that experience with me. So it made it so much easier to let her go. to go on to become whatever emanation she chooses to put her consciousness into this next go around on whatever plane she's going to experience as she's increased. So she's on working her way up the chain, if you will, or up the different levels of consciousness. And I've been before her. So part of my job was to help her prepare, as Laurie just said, for her next emanation. But she was also teaching me, hey, it wasn't so long ago that you were on this plane. And so it made me more empathetic towards the animal kingdom, even more so than I already was. Because you realize what that interconnection is.
You understand the process.
You never leave any one plane. You know that? You don't really leave any one plane, just like you never leave the universe. You never leave God. You never leave spirit.
Yeah.
You can be, you have the sense that you're separated, but you're never truly separated. It's where you put your thoughts.
Yep.
And so I can live and exist in all these different planes and emanations through my dreams, through my visions, through my memories. Or I could choose to go back, but why would I want to go back to something I've already experienced when I've elevated myself and initiated myself to the next level of consciousness? So it's just interesting. It's fascinating that we can tap into any level at any time we want to.
This is also why I do my best to not be judgmental. Because
good point, Nick.
Very good point. Yeah, a lot of people that are all stuck up and think they're they smell like roses and not the other thing. They look down on people, not even realizing that they used to be on that same level. You graduated from that, but keep talking, keep talking. Like you will get demoted.
Well, you're talking about spiritual narcissism.
Yeah.
Spiritual narcissism.
Yeah. They will literally go, "Oh, you were making fun of the disabled. Oh, now you're gonna have to have a life to be disabled to see how it really is." Like, stuff like that happens. So,
very, very difficult. Disability is a very, very difficult choice, but the growth that comes from it is exponential. And you don't realize that till after you pass on.
Then the next plane is the plane of the human. Human consciousness adds a new element of awareness called self-consciousness. So all the planes under human are considered to not have this. It's only once you hit human is when you start experiencing what they call self-consciousness, which enables us to say, I am. The thinker apart from the thoughts, the feeler apart of the feeling, the willer apart from the voluntary activity. This is the start of the top three planes. We are blended with the animal and demigod planes. This is a huge part of symbolism in regards to the ego versus the higher self. Do you want to ascend to your birthright or keep playing in the mud like an animal? That choice is yours alone. And then this is what gets us into the next part. Part 8, the 3 higher planes of consciousness. So this next part focuses on the planes above animals. Humans, demigods, and gods, respectively. These 3 are part of the 7 planes symbol, as we showed earlier. But the Rosicrucians have another symbol that represents these 3 specifically, as shown in Figure 11. This implies humans are a blend of demigods and gods as well, not just animals. This part of the teaching goes over this truth. Rosicrucians put these 3 in their own category because they all have awareness of the self-conscious, the I am.
The I am.
Like every other plane, humans have lows and highs in progression. What metaphysical practitioners call sleepwalkers are just humans on a more early stage of self-awareness. It is simply part of the process, so don't judge as you were in that step once upon a time, as I was just talking about. So, do not take your gift of higher awareness for granted. Don't neglect doing the inner work. Don't deny yourself this revelation.
I love that.
Yep.
Hitting you do, it's going to make things a little bit harder.
Gonna make things a lot harder.
Yeah.
And it's really easy to mess up in this stage.
So Nick, can we just go back for those that are watching that might not have as much familiarity? What is your understanding of the term demigod versus God?
Okay, so it's easier to explain demigods because humans that are ascending, like anyone that practices the metaphysicals and aren't a joke about it, like they're not a scam, they're not BSing, like they can actually do it. They're already experiencing what demigods actually are. They start going more so into the collective consciousness rather than the apart consciousness from the beginning of self-awareness. Mm-hmm. They can start doing miraculous things like Reiki, for example. Like I can lay on hands and it helps people. Like that's like a doctor would look at me like I'm crazy, like that doesn't work. But I got proof that it does work. So, and I have inner knowing that it also works because when I was introduced to it, it helped me. So like, can I show that on paper that it's proof? No, I can't. You can't really show those planes of existences in a physical proof setting because it's above this.
Yes.
You can only show it to people who are willing to try it out or have already experienced it. So
would this include things like your psychic abilities and your ability to see things, have clear vision,
yes.
predict things, have mediumship experiences?
Yes, things like
it's all these. So when back in the day, back in ancient, maybe earlier planetary evolutions, people would see people doing this and go, "Oh my God, they're gods."
Yeah. And they wouldn't be gods.
They don't see it as an internal. They didn't understand this internal activation of spirit. Energy. They understood it as an outside thing. So they would go, "Oh, that's either an alien or some kind of a god."
Yep. And they wouldn't be gods. They would either be high-end humans or beginner demigods. The only time when it's a god is if they decide to reincarnate into a human body.
Okay, so a god is an immortal deity, whereas a demigod is offering of a god and a mortal human possessing a blend of a divine and mortal traits.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Uh-huh.
And that's what.
But now when we're talking about is consciousness, not a physical manifestation of a being. So what came to me through meditation today and through just general connectivity, I was connecting with someone today, Dalibor.
Mm-hmm.
And what came through from Dalibor was, hey, take a look at Jesus, Buddha, Zoroaster, Thoth. All of these figures from history weren't really actual physical people. They were ideas. They were thought creations, but different energies, but they were all the same, one and the same energy, just manifesting itself in mass, in matter, to be able to bring those teachings and that wisdom to the people at the level of consciousness that the vast majority of society was on at the time. But in other words, Dalibor has come to the understanding that they're not really physical humans that existed. Maybe in part they did, but they represented the same energy and the same form in a conscious level, and just presented themselves in the form of a Nick Doss or a Laurie or a Teresa or a Jesus or. So they had a real human they were connected to, most of them. But they had the same energy. They're the same being within the soul.
Taking on the blueprint of that energy. So you're picking that and saying, yeah.
They're at the highest. They're beyond that. They're at the God, almost the God level. They're like at the top of the pyramid or the Rosicrucians have these 7 steps or the ladder. They show it on a ladder. With what Nick is describing here is different levels of consciousness, different planes. Once you get to that higher plane, you are Thoth. It comes from within.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
What he was saying is that you don't have to die to become in a different dimension. Mm-hmm. And you don't need in today's society a Jesus. You don't need a Buddha and you don't need a Zoroaster. Or any of those other many, many, many different adepts. Mm-hmm. Because no one person, the world was different then. They didn't have the communication that we have now. And we've evolved. So we have the ability within our own consciousness, awareness, to now go through these layers of awareness from within. We can rise to the highest level, plane of consciousness within our own bodies by tapping in ourselves. We don't need a Jesus to do it, and we don't need a Buddha to do it. We are Buddha. We are Jesus.
And Jesus said that too, be like me. Be like me.
Yeah.
Right.
Don't be him, be like him.
Yeah.
Yeah, the way you tap into these certain concepts or entities is by embodying what they represent.
Yes.
The reason why I synergize so well with Thoth is because I am into the occult. I am very good at magic. I like teaching. I like being a messenger.
Yep.
I have a lot of Egypt ties. My relationship with Jasmine is very similar to his and Bass. So
yeah.
And then I could go on with my examples, but yeah, the more you're synergizing with an idea, the more that you are synergizing with that energy. So that means you can tap into that.
Yeah.
Plane of consciousness.
And you can't fake that. Someone can claim
it,
but if you're not embodying it, then it doesn't matter how much you want to be that. You gotta start acting like it.
Proof's in the pudding.
Yeah. So.
The human John Paul, I would say that the human vessels that they occupied for their manifestation of their consciousness in this 3D reality have died off, because that's what human flesh does. They're the vessel of the soul. And so they themselves are not dead.
No.
They're still alive and always have been alive in different forms of consciousness throughout different epochs.
Yeah. Yes, it's important to remember there's no such thing as dead, only change.
Right.
Just your human vessel, vehicle, like a suit of clothing that you just take off when it's worn out. Yeah. And then you move on to something else.
Energy never dies, just transmutes. Yes, Chloe.
Yes.
Thank you. Yes.
Correct.
Yeah, that's good. But yeah, like what you're handing out, Teresa, I go into it for the next panel, so you'll see you'll see what you're picking up on.
I don't know.
She knows the answers.
She knows the answers. I'm just going to be dissecting it. That's all.
I love it.
I am. Yeah.
I am. Sam, I am.
Yay.
Love Dr. Seuss.
Most of the time, for the human plane, it is during young adolescence that the human comes to this I am realization. Some psychologists call attention to the fact that many kids experience a feeling similar to terror at this realization of individuality. Some writers express through their experiences that they felt alone or detachment from this realization during their childhood. The process of self-consciousness can be a painful one, it getting harder as you progress. This is the symbolism to the Garden of Eden story.
Okay.
We eat the fruit of knowledge and suffer, also known as the attaining self-consciousness and the awaken the ego, and get cast out of the garden, which is also symbolic for the end of your childhood, where we have the same awareness as animals, not worrying of the affairs of the higher self. However, it is worth it, for at the finish line we obtain even higher consciousness and are delivered from our burdens. So yes, Garden of Eden story did not actually happen. It's an allegory and a metaphor for
I believe
this growing up. At least that's what the Rosicrucians claim. It makes sense to me. It rung true to me.
It rings true to me too.
Me too.
At a DNA level, no way in hell would our race survive with only 2 people.
Yeah.
So
you know what's interesting is when I was a kid, Sesame Street had just come out, and of course Dr. Seuss was doing the I am, and I remember being like 4 years old, and I was falling asleep, and I remember saying to myself, I am. It was like kind of like an epiphany. I'm human. I am. This is interesting. Right.
But I was around 2 when it happened to me. I was watching Land Before Time. I like the dinosaurs with the yeah. And I noticed my reflection in the mirror, and I just started staring at myself, and then it just started turning like, dang, I'm really here, aren't I? And it just snowballed from there.
Self-realization. Yeah. On a conscious and physical level.
Man.
Yeah, that's right. This reminds me of something else. My sisters, my older sisters, they are so close in age. And my parents used to nickname them Her Too and Me Too.
Mm.
Because they didn't see a distinction really between them. So one would say they give her an apple. Darling, they would give my older sister an apple. And she'd say, her too, her too, her too. To give Lynn an apple. And Lynn would say, me too, me too, me too.
Oh, that's why.
Her too and me too. Her too and me too. So everywhere they went and everything they did, it was her too, her too, her too. Until they got to a point where they realized, you're you and I'm me. I'm not you and you're not me. I am. I am.
Wow.
And they were quite older with, I mean, they were doing this up until, I guess, age 8 or 9. Where, you give her a dress, you go to the store, you go, darling, we're going to buy you a new pair of shoes because your shoes are broken and we need to give you some. Her too, her too. Her too gets shoes. Me too, me too. Everything. They were not separate, and yet there weren't twins. They weren't twins. They were like a year and a half apart or something, or 2 years apart. But they had this identification right up until they were a certain age, where I guess they came into understanding. And I guess it was a bit difficult for the younger one when the older one realized, hey, it's not all about, we're individual. I am separateness. But it must have been something for the younger one to no longer be the me too.
Right.
Yeah.
I would like to note in the Garden of Eden story, it really makes sense in regards of how the transitioning of the planes goes, at least in my perspective. Because at the beginning, they can actually talk to the animals, right? So to me, that's symbolic of showing that they are on the cusp of humans/animals. Like they're still on the animal spectrum. So that's why they're more in tune with them and they can communicate. But once they hit that fruit in the knowledge and they understand right from wrong and the self-awareness and, all that other stuff, they lose that. That which is symbolizing that they're no longer on the same level as animals. There's something more, which is the human plane. So, yeah, I think that was interesting.
It is very interesting.
Yeah.
That's when they started covering themselves with fig leaves.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, I'm naked. And God's like, why are you tripping? And it was like, oh, God, you grew up. I'm like, time to go.
It's so funny. Why are you tripping?
You straight tripping, boo.
Glad I'm entertaining.
Gotta poke a little fun here and there.
We are too, Nick. We are too.
Yeah.
I agree. I would have to agree. So the cross that many bear, the affliction caused by an untrained ego. So I tried my best to simplify this, but it's so important that I couldn't. So you're going to read along with me.
All right.
This newfound awareness makes us also realize that other humans possess a degree of this I am state as well. We search out others to see if they are in agreement of our own thoughts, as this nurtures intellect and logical thought. This being a mark in human conscious evolution. This leads us to asking the many whys and creation of inventions to help obtain the know of the unknowns, all of which demands a price. As we advance, so does the price. This increase is the suffering in man. The more one knows, the more one desires, which leads to more suffering until those eureka moments come crashing down that gives true ascension. Animals just desire the basics: food, a mate, water, shelter. Many humans are like this as well, but as one develops, it gets more complicated. This can be a trap, and is for many, as man attaches himself to things and creates artificial wants, which he labors to meet. 9-to-5 jobs, that's a good example. Intellect, in this regard, fails to lead one upwards, the logic plague, as I call it, inventing new ways to gratify his senses that are impossible for animals or primitive man to do. Some fall prey to turning their gratifications into a religious degree and sink below the level of beasts in this respect. Kind of like phallicism, just for example.
Yep.
And any other notorious groups that I'm sure people are aware of.
Kind of a codependency type situation as well.
Yeah. Some become vain and egotistical, which in my earlier stages of life, this was me.
Yep. Guilty.
I've transmuted it to a bit to make a healthier version, but we'll get into that a little bit later. Some become morbidly introspective, halting growth. Some exhaust their capacity to joy and pleasure by always looking for it outside instead of within. This is the giant shadow that casts upon the bright light of human consciousness, as we all know as id or ego and so on. This is what it's talking about. Don't fall for the ego trap. It's very important. So this is how you come full circle. To overcome the crosses, one has to obtain mastery over the mind. Since most thoughts come with a price of suffrage, it is safe to say the solution is to let them go. We do not let a pebble in our shoe continue to irritate us. We find the solution by getting rid of it. This can be applied to a more complicated matter, like getting soup. Until you obtain this mental and emotional mastery, one cannot claim to be ascended. I walked out, lost my job. It honestly did not bother me because I knew what I had to do. I had to start working on this. So there we are. Yeah. You guys want more of this? I need money. So help me with that so I can focus on this more. But, anyways, this realization is recognizing our I am is above thought and emotion. This is how the I am becomes I do. Human leaders of all kinds have attained this step of I do. So they have gotten out of their heads and started applying it, which is an important step and is a step I always try to get people to do. Because while you're just going, I am, there's people that are taking advantage of you that are I doing.
No kidding. Tell me about it.
Rode that train before.
Yep, it's very important if you want to start living the life that you want. So, the wise of the race do not wait for the natural evolution of this ascension. You could just be like the plants or the stones and wait millions of years to go into the next step. However, we instead find the shortcuts in the occult to the higher planes by means of hard work and careful training under teachers of mastery who embody the virtues and values of true occultists for thousands of years. Rosicrucianism being a fine example of such achievements. So yeah, if the end of the world happens, there's only a select few that have that intellect of demigod status, and everything got reset. Yeah, you're going. Having a shortcut like this is fantastic, in my opinion. So many years skipped of evolution because it was documented.
There used to be saying there are no shortcuts.
Yes, by shortcut, I mean that we have a guidebook of sorts. We have a cheat book of like people have done this before and they've documented it and it's survived for this long, so we can gain something out of it a lot faster than just gradually figuring it out on our own. We have a guidance, we have a parent figure, we have a role model. It helps us grow faster. That's what I mean by shortcuts.
You have some history.
Yes.
That you can recall.
Yep, you still got to be able to put in the work. And let me tell you, being able to get data dumped super quickly, it's not easy. It takes a special type of dedication. Like, everyone's shocked when they hear that I'm not even 30 yet. And I know as much as I do, I put in the work.
Like, you're not 30?
No, I'm 28. I put in the inner work, and I've gotten to this point as early as I did.
Man, you're not even 3 decades?
I know.
Amazing. That's amazing.
Well, you've got the spirit of an old soul.
Oh,
sure.
Yeah. I feel like I've been here a while.
Yeah.
There's that Thoth energy running through your veins.
I sure do rant like an old man, don't I?
You're doing a great job. Are you kidding
Yeah,
me?
you are. Yes,
it's
you
fantastic. Thank you
Appreciate that.
for what you're doing. Thanks for condensing all this, because this book is like freaking big ass Bible. Okay?
It's a lot of material.
It's a lot of material, and
to optimize.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's like over 8 hours long.
Well done. Yeah. Oh, I know what it takes.
Plus, you're relating it back to more modern thought and your own experiences, so that really helps.
Yep.
What you're doing here. So
I read it more than once too. I read it twice, and then I'm currently reading it a third time while I do this to make sure I'm getting it right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah. That's very good.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Let's see, where were we?
Number 4?
Yeah, number 4. Even without obtaining demigod or god status, this level of mental and emotional mastery can claim achievements that are far above the dreams of the average person, to the point that it looks like fiction in the average perspective. Which, I mean, if you work in the metaphysical of any kind and are the real deal, you know as much as I do that people look at you kind of funny.
Yep. Yeah. And it's just because they don't understand.
They haven't experienced it yet. They don't have the knowing yet like we do.
Exactly. Yeah.
They will get exposed sooner or later. It's all in due time.
Yes.
So that's all.
You have lifetimes to figure it out. That's for sure. You can just keep recycling all you want till you get to that point. Because really that's the purpose.
Yep.
To ascend in a lifetime. Yeah.
Yep. So they can judge me as much as they want. I'm not going to judge them because I've been there.
Yep.
So I get what that's like.
Yeah.
But remember this. Do not let average deter your light. Me claiming to be Thoth, claiming I helped build the foundation of what the secret societies know among the other personal achievements I've talked about, I have shared from mastering the mental, the emotional, the physical, and spiritual states of being is not from a state of being crazy, but from a state of this ascension cycle of the human plane. Do not let conforming, brainwashing, negativity, gaslighting, manipulation, etc. keep you away from your own light. I bring up myself not to stroke my ego, albeit it does stroke it ever so slightly, as I am proud of it.
Feels a little good.
That's all right. That's all right.
And that's healthy.
But I bring myself up as an example to show the viewer what they are truly capable of. I am a human too, just like everyone else here, as far as I know.
At least right now.
Right. That means any human can have this ascended experiences if they so choose to work for them.
Yes.
Amen. That is so spot on.
Do the work, you get the rewards.
Yep. I am special, but so are all of you. Don't forget that. It's very important. Don't, if you're the black sheep of the family and your family don't get it, don't talk to them. Find people that understand you.
Yes.
So it's like, they're just going to hold you down. They don't get it.
Yeah.
It's not that they don't love you.
Right.
You're just at a higher level of awareness than they are. And it's not going to mix. It's just not until they themselves get their own experiences. You were probably placed there to give them a first taste of what that's like. But most of the time, they won't even be aware of that until after they pass away.
Exactly. That's right.
Remember, you are loved. They just don't get it.
Yeah, and that's okay.
They don't.
There's nothing wrong with that. Yeah.
It's not their part of their journey yet.
Yep.
And
just
also,
keep loving them, keep supporting them,
and
keep
also
being
remember,
there for them.
You also do have a support system that does understand you. You're just not seeing it because you're not fully tapped in yet. But they're on the other side and they're supporting you. You're never alone. Literally
That's
impossible.
True. Yep. Very true.
So.
Yeah.
You
just think you're alone.
Yep. And then you realize, like, your great-great-great-grandfather saw you masturbating. It happens.
Oh my God! When your grandparents walk,
there's Nick being human again. Oh my!
I just gotta point out the obvious. Get them to really understand that you're not alone.
Oops.
Kind of like, oh, did they see you shower? Like they really care. Come on.
Right.
They're like, oh, that's so-and-so being human again.
Yeah.
That's funny.
When somebody comes in there and pulls that.
Yeah. Now everyone's thinking, oh, maybe I do want to be a little alone now.
Maybe it's best to just kind of keep those rose-colored glasses on for a while. Makes it easier.
Oh my God.
Maybe we'll get them to do the inner work.
Yeah.
Oh.
This is what happens when you work with 2 fire sign energy. Jasmine, where are you when I need you?
Oh, she's laughing. She's laughing at me. Shaking her head.
I love it. It's all good.
She's like, let me focus on.
Hey, we've all thought that. Like, who hasn't thought about that?
Yeah, I'm just bringing up.
Can they
what's
really
not
see
said.
me?
Yeah.
Don't worry, they don't care.
Yeah, exactly.
They're not going to hang out with you. They're going to be like, okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Moving on.
Yep. All right, so now on to the next plane, the plane of the demigod. Rosicrucians claim this plane is such an advanced form of consciousness that to man these demigods resemble gods themselves. This plane is the dwelling of very advanced souls that were once human, who are currently becoming gods. They aid in the great work of advancement of man in the general course of spiritual evolution. Spirit guides, ascended masters, angels, etc., all being titles of this concept. This is why I respect Thoth, because he is one of the gods that show this truth instead of others forces who try to keep humans from growing into demigods. Mm-hmm. They like to convince you that you are nothing but an animal. So which one are you going to listen to? Are you going to listen to them and convert back into an animal, or are you going to rebel against that false way of thinking and turn into a demigod? Everyone here has a potential to be so. I don't know about you, but I want some cool powers. So,
yeah, I kind of want to graduate too.
Yeah, exactly. Progression, not regression.
Exactly. Yeah.
Working with these entities, having flashes and experiences with these demigods have been dubbed as cosmic consciousness. So this is the difference between the consciousness that you're asking about, Teresa, where you're going through the self-consciousness. Demigods are experiencing something called cosmic consciousness. And some humans also get a mastery of that of sorts as an initiation process, like with mediums. So like how when they astral project, or when they're transmigrating someone, or when they're moving something with their mind, or whatever the gift is. That is them stepping their toes into demigod.
Yep.
Characteristics of this form of being. So demigods have attained oneness with universal life. Like every other plane, this too has different degrees and forms. The individual feels close to all creation, unlike humans who feel apart from it. Mm-hmm. Any mystic that isn't a scam knows all too well what this feels like to a degree, as we are able to tap into this plane of existence. The student must remember this isn't the end of the subject. As valuable as it is, this is not the peak of truth or what is true. So when they're bringing this up, this reminds me of what I tell people, especially when they're starting to tap into this. Do not drink too much of that Kool-Aid to the point where you never come back down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, amen.
That is always dangerous. You will fracture yourself. You'll really look crazy to people. At that point, you won't be able to keep a job or have a sustainable way of living. All that stuff. You won't, like, grounding is important.
Don't get stuck function in society. Yeah.
Don't get addicted to it.
You'll have to stay grounded while you're in this body.
Absolutely.
You're still learning to be human.
Right.
That is being able to juggle that cosmic consciousness with your self-conscious. Like, that is a key to graduation. You have to be able to do that. If you can't, I don't know what to tell you. Don't be back down here.
I like to say, I think Laurie and I both use the expression, I graduated today.
Yeah.
I had a go-to session with my guide, my spiritual guide, and I was informed that I graduated from this initiation. Okay? That's a lot different than saying I have arrived, I have nothing left to learn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am God.
Yep. And I
am Thoth.
Yeah. And that's pure arrogance, because you're only a demigod. There's at least one more plane after that. In this existence. That's just this existence. Like,
yeah.
This isn't even outside of the universal egg and the eternal parent. Like, so yeah. Don't
be a spiritual narcissist, people.
Yes.
Yeah, because you'll just end up like the Icarus, flying too close.
Yes, Icarus. Yes.
Which number was I on? Oh yeah, 6.
Number 6.
6.
These experiences aren't on a conventional intellectual conviction, but rather on a manifested knowing. This is what stumps eggheads, because you can't make physical proof out of a personal experience.
Yeah.
The only way they will get the proof is by doing the inner work and get off their egotistical, I am smart, high horse. Yes, dear.
Yep,
You're
yes.
very smart.
Uh-huh.
However, you got to go within to see what I'm talking about.
Right.
The person who experiences knows, much like how they know that they are alive and exist. It is impossible to convey the exact nature of this plane of existence to those who have not even gained a faint flash of it. To the person who taps into this truth creates a conviction so strong that nothing can waver it. A good example I can think of with this is Kanye. He looks crazy to the public, to a lot of people, but people of the occult know what he is referencing. Even if he is bad at articulating it, he keeps going. These flashes are sneak peeks of what is to come for our race. People who have tapped into this demigod state like mediums are also here to help us progress. Many demigods come down to reincarnate into human form to continue their work of human advancement. Some examples are Jesus, the Avatar, the Dalai Lama, etc. So yeah, that is one of the ways how demigods interact with us and how they work with us, and it kind of shows you the blending of the demigod with the human on that spectrum. And since they can do the miraculous things that they can do, that shows the blending of the God spectrum that they have. Examples of people who express experiencing this state. A modern poet expressing the conviction of universal oneness of life uses terms which will be recognized by all who have had flashes of cosmic consciousness as follows. For the all is one, and all are part, and not apart as they seem to be. And the blood of life has a single heart, beating through God and Claude and me. For time's sake, I will not be going over every poem or quote, but here are a shorter list of names who, like myself and others, who work on the demigod state, express their experiences with the higher knowing. Walt Whitman, who himself had experienced cosmic consciousness, says of the experience, as in a swoon, one instant, another sun, ineffable, full dazzles me. And all the orbs I knew, and brighter, unknown orbs, one instant of the future land, heaven's land. I cannot be awake, for nothing looks to me as it did before, or else I am awake for the first time, and all before has been asleep. When I try to tell the best, I find I cannot. My tongue is ineffectual on its pivots. My breath will not be obedient to its organs. I become a dumb man. So he got a taste of that Kool-Aid. And he experienced the axiom of the greatest truths cannot be spoken, because it's hard to describe. That's what that means. That's what that metaphor means. It's like once you experience it, it's hard to put into words. So it's just a knowing. So you come around someone, they'll notice that you know, and you'll notice they'll know. And it's just like a nod, maybe some symbols, and you're going off about your day. It's very hard to articulate it in the way that I am. It's very hard. And I have been practicing it for over 10 years to get as good as I am currently, and I still feel like I can do a lot better.
Room for growth.
Yeah.
But you've grown a lot. You know it.
Dr. Richard Maurice Buke, no, I think it's Buke, not Buke, of Toronto, Canada, published a book entitled Cosmic Consciousness, which goes into detail about many people, including himself and some of his friends, who tap into this demigod state. Emerson, in his essay on the Oversoul, he calls cosmic consciousness the Oversoul, shows his direct encounter on experiencing this cosmic consciousness. So there's a few examples of people of high esteem that are like, yeah, I know what they're talking about. They're not hyped on meds. It can happen. Light, for as illuminating as it is, can incinerate the unprepared. So this was another one where it was like, there's so much information here. How do I condense it? I try to condense it, and I'm just like, it's too important to condense. I need to explain it. So one of the reasons I implore the half-wise and self-centered to not go after these endeavors by hanging on the coattails of others who are ready to be exposed to the cosmic consciousness is quite simple. It can make you go insane.
Yeah.
the book goes into example of people tapping in, like the trances of Socrates, union of Plotinus, etc. These examples aren't here to be idolized or worshipped through religion as they have. They are to show this phenomenon is true, to let yourself have your own experiences. Trust me, finding your own ascension is way better than getting high off of someone else's, as you will just end up left behind, stuck in the human phase, while they reach demigod. I had a few stages of this, one of the most profound ones being my experience with Nyx and Gaia. They are, for those who don't know, they're Greek primordials in the Greek mythos. Mm-hmm. They were giving me a sneak peek of this power momentarily, waking me up to show how much I am capable of. The best way I could describe this feeling, when they woke me up, it felt like I was going Super Saiyan. For anyone who's watched Dragon Ball Z, I was like the whoosh, 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 like aura. Like that was literally happening. I felt it. It was like having goosebumps on crack cocaine. Is the best way I can describe it. It was. I felt strong. I felt like I could Kamehameha something, and so I started to. Mm-hmm. So when I got illuminated that hard, it started exposing all the shadows that were standing in my way, trying to stop me. So I started smiting. I started exposing. I started smiting. They were not happy. The underworld was not happy. That Nyx and Gaia let me tap into that. They were not happy at all. That's the best way I can currently describe it with my experience of it.
Okay.
Me coming to that realization, among many others and more to come, is why I started isolating myself from certain friends. They were becoming judgmental, envious, manic, or creeped out by me, not just preaching it, but also applying this cosmic aspect to the point I am manifesting physical results. So to protect them, while also staying true to myself, not making myself stagnating by staying on that level, I decided to continue on without constantly exposing them to what they are not ready for.
It's necessary at times to do that. You can still love them and be there for them, but you
put
just
that
have
boundary.
To let go and move on. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like I didn't give them chances, which I will go over a little bit more. You guys are going to get to know me a little bit better.
Well, every time you come into the presence of another being, there's a reason for it, for whatever that is. Reason is season, Laurie's ingrained that one. Reason is season for everything. So it's easier to let them go when you have to. If you understand that not all relationships are meant to be permanent in the sense of the human experience. Now, outside the human experience, we're all permanent because we're all one. Mm-hmm. But you're meant for a very short time. It could be 10 years. It could be 2 years. It could be 20 years or 18 years.
A season or a lifetime.
Yeah. Remember, it's all learning. It's all classes.
Yeah.
Someone might flunk, but that doesn't mean they don't get to try again. So eventually they'll catch up to you.
Yep.
Eventually. Yeah. So it's not, goodbyes aren't forever. You just, sometimes you gotta do it.
Yep.
It's part of life.
Yes.
So, and once you start connecting to demigod / godhood, you realize that you're never losing them. So
I think the key point here, though, is that you're not making the decision to do that because, hey, you just don't get it, so I'm going to dump you. You're doing it because they're resisting it to the extent that they're coming at you with accusations or judgments or making you not feel whole and complete. And you're making the choice to not allow them to affect you that way. You're making the choice to say, this is not what I want. It's not what I need to progress.
Yep.
In my expansion, therefore I need to separate.
Vice versa as well. My light might be stagnating them because it's casting a shadow that they don't know how to navigate.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So it's also for them too to also keep progressing.
Yeah, it's a pure intent. It's a pure intent. It's not out of ego.
Right. Yep. It's out of the safety for all that are involved.
Yeah.
And you can draw that energy back by yourself. You don't need to tell anybody or say anything to anybody. You just draw that energy back and you protect it at that point. So you're not being vulnerable to someone else's opinions, ideas, and thoughts of who you are. You're the one that's going to dictate who and what you are.
Yep. So now for some heavy stuff. Now you're going to get to know me a little bit more.
All
so,
right.
Unfortunately, before this revelation on point 3 of what could be considered a catalyst to this wisdom I found, I had an instance of someone close to me dying from me tapping into chronomancy. I figured out exactly when they were dying and what was needed to prevent it, the habits that were making them go into that cause and effect. I knew how to stop it. I tried to explain it. I told him the time frame he had before it was too late, etc. I gave him everything on a silver platter. What I thought would be an easy fix turned into him getting so much pressure to the point that it was so great and that fate was manifested anyway. At the same exact time frame I guessed it on. I told him 3 months, literally happened almost exactly 3 months. It was like 3 months and a couple days, I think.
Yep.
I suppose this may be a cross to bear at this stage of cosmic consciousness. For me, it was showing that not everyone is on the same page in progression, and for me to force this level onto others who are not ready can lead to consequences. Though they did do me a great disservice against me because they convinced me we were on the same page. That's the only reason why I went through it. It's because I was under the headspace that both of them knew what needed to be done, and it just turned it out it wasn't the case.
Right. Yeah.
If he was more honest with me, he would still be alive. If I was more adept in this awareness, it would have never happened to begin with. It frustrates me to this day. Oh, come on, Leo. I'm having a moment. Hold on.
Usually Jet's in the picture.
Yeah, it was Leo this time.
What's a belly rub?
Yeah.
If I was more adept in this awareness, it would have never happened to begin with. It frustrates me to this day that I was given the gift to prevent something and it happened anyways. Even though I came to terms with it and understood the lesson for everyone involved on why it had to play out that way. My experience and experiences the book brings up are for the next in line to have some guidance. This is my personal warning to the ones blending into the audience who are not ready. Once again, I beseech you, you have to do the inner work, or you can end up hurting yourself. Do not simply learn the beginning steps, then go straight to applying the more advanced ones. You have to apply the fundamentals before the mastery. Otherwise, you will go insane, like some characters did in Assassin's Creed, when they obtained the apple through force while still being in a premature state. This game, in my opinion, shows huge symbolism to this truth. So yeah, like most characters in Assassin's Creed, whenever they picked up on this artifact, they just went crazy. They got data dumped. They saw the truth of everything. They couldn't handle it. They got super like satiated power, or their mentals broke. And those are the ones that could hold it. Some people that held it, they would just die or go into seizure or stuff like that. There's only like a select few people who held it that could handle it and let go of it when it was ready to let go of. So, and even then, they had moments that were looking like, oh, is he going to go crazy with it? Like, it's symbolism showing how potent this energy can be for vessels and mentals that are not ready for that level of light.
Good analogy.
That's the real reason why secret societies keep it secret. It's not because they're trying to take advantage of you, although I'm sure there are some in there that are. The main reason is because they don't want you searing yourself on a spiritual and mental level. It's very hard to repair if you do that. It's not just like a body. It's where it can heal. It's a different process, and it can be pretty traumatizing.
Well, it's not.
Oops.
Oh, you muted yourself, Teresa.
It's not like riding a bike or falling off a horse and getting back on.
Yep.
It's not that simple, because once you have experienced that, it's almost like taking a basket of candy away from a child who feels they've earned it and they've been enjoying it, and then something went wrong and they choked on the candy and now they're like fearful of it, or somebody's ripped it away from them, and it's very traumatic. It could be a very burned out, traumatic feeling, or a feeling of, I don't trust spirit, or I don't trust that connection. So getting back is, I know the further I have fallen away from the idea of expansion of consciousness and my spiritual connection to source, to God, It's been because I've chosen to fall away or walk away from it. And it gets harder to come back every single time. Because the more intense I get and the more expansive I get, boom, it's like a major letdown. And then you feel like you feel disconnected, but you're not. Your mind is making you feel that way. So it's harder and harder to come back. And I've gone through this cycle at least 3 times in my life, and that's over with now. You know, but I really went through that up and down, or that spinning, for quite some time in my 30s. It wasn't until I started getting into my 40s and later into my 50s, I was able to come back. But it sure was hard this last time, and that would be about 7 or 8 years ago. But boy, if I made a comeback like a heck hole, you know, I'm like on like Donkey Kong now. And now I see the truths that I never saw before. And I am tapping into those higher levels of consciousness. Once you get past that 3rd or 4th plane and you're in that, 765, when you start getting into that level, there is no turning. I don't feel I can turn back. I might question things at certain times, or I might get a little upset with spirit, but that's because I'm still progressing within those three last levels. But I'm telling you, folks, if you walk away in the middle of this and you start doubting yourself and not trusting your own self, or seeing your own self-worth, or understanding your own self-value and who you really are, and you're not loving yourself, and you're not feeling that inside from deep within, you will disconnect yourself temporarily in your thought, and it's harder and harder to recover. It's like falling off the wagon when you've taken a drink and you've been sober for so many years, or you've redeveloped an addiction that you thought you got rid of.
Kind of a relapse.
And right back to it. Yeah, it's a relapse. But it's harder and harder to make a comeback every time.
Yeah.
Yep.
But once you get to this certain level of awareness, a certain level of conscious projection into making you're making the connections and projecting yourself into a new way of beingness, a new reality. But if you don't hold on to that reality and you resist it and push it off, it's really hard to come back. Not that you can't, but
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Proud of you, Teresa.
Thank you, Nicholas. I'm proud of you.
This level of being incinerates the ill-intentioned masters as well, not just the unprepared. An ancient Egyptian proverb that I thought of in regards to this was, true sages are those who give what they have without meanness and without secret. To obtain this plane of being, naturally, is to be a master at white magic of pure intent. Masters of black magic have infiltrated the kingdom of heaven on this plane, prostituting their power. It is inevitable for nature herself to dish out punishment for such acts of imbalance. These power-hungry black magicians either get forced into the ranks of light or are disintegrated/destroyed altogether by the same forces they set into operation for selfish and ignoble purposes. If you've ever seen JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, the fate of Father Pucci is a good example that comes to mind of this eradication in his pursuit of obtaining heaven. So basically, he gained the power to force the cycles that, like the epoch cycles, to rewind over and over and over again at an accelerated rate, to the point where people in the last lifetime of cycles are remembering that last lifetime in this current one. Totally breaking the rules. So, like, as a result, he got erased. Like, his existence gone. Like,
Wow.
So I think that was a good example to bring up when you try to, do things you're not supposed to do. I surmise this is why entities like Thoth or Nyx get away with using black magic without the harsh consequences, because entities like us, we use it to protect, heal, and serve the light of consciousness, not to control, destroy, or only serve ourselves. Intent in all magic is important. Even a white magician can suffer the consequences of using it wrong. With all this said, it is no wonder why the depraved try to keep as many down as possible, for it is the only way they are able to infiltrate their space. This is why I find my work so important, as this is my effort at dismantling the chains they try to put on others. Do yourself a favor and build yourself up with true virtue so they can stop abusing you like an animal.
Mm-hmm.
So now we are into the last plane, the plane of the gods. For us humans, explaining this plane can be a most difficult one, since it would essentially be skipping the demigod step that higher humans are diving into. To go into something that none of us haven't really experienced yet and try to break it down into a crash course class is not exactly feasible. So even the most adept student or master of the occult can scarcely grasp this idea. These beings dwell very high in knowledge, power, life, and bliss, to the point it is extremely hard for even the human imagination to fathom it. On this plane is personal gods. They even have their own family groups called pantheons, but none can be considered the god, as they are not the eternal parent / infinite reality. Thus, they have limitations and are manifestations of the all. That truth alone, I can see why they keep it hidden, because all you need is a simple history lesson of how much radicalism manifests through zealous worship. They too have their day and night cycles, just like we do. However, they have full conscious awareness of being a part of infinite rather than being separated.
Mm-hmm.
That's where the main difference is. So they have an even higher degree of cosmic consciousness that demigods have. To expose this plane to humans can cause a lot of damage, even to the adept masters of the occult who were granted flashes of this consciousness. The best example I can think of about that right now is the last pope. What did he do? He opened those gates, didn't he? What happened not even like a couple weeks later? He died. It happens.
Mm-hmm.
Even the most trained, it can sear you.
Mm-hmm.
That's why he was stressing before he opened them. Not because he was letting the reptilians out. It's because he was about to see the face of God and he wasn't sure if he could handle it. That's what that was.
Well then.
Yeah. At least that's my theory. I say it with a lot of passion from my gut, so I'm pretty sure it's accurate, but I don't have any proof.
Mm-hmm.
I want to make something really clear here.
Yeah.
Just in case, for those that are watching here, the God is they are not the eternal parent, the infinite reality. Thus, they have limitations and are manifestations of the all.
Yep.
We create an idea of someone. We create the thought that, hey, because this person can do all these things and is said to have done all these things, and there's all these stories, and we take them literally, not as the anecdotes that they're meant to be, or not as the examples, metaphors, or symbols of an idea or thought, but a personification of that thought into an accepted group, accepted life form. So there's a group consensus. It's the idea of an egregore in a society. When you all believe that something is true, therefore it becomes the truth for that group of people. And so what this is saying to me, if I'm reading this right, tell me if I'm not getting this right, Nick. The God is they are not the eternal parent. They are not the infinite reality. They have limitations because we've manifested them. And there's been a group of collective thought that has made them something more visible or bigger than they really are.
Yep.
Thus you have religion, and thus you have worship of the idea.
Yep.
These people are worshiping an idea and believing that a God exists. It's the energy signature of the frequency of the consciousness that was brought into the reality. But you're not supposed to be worshiping an idea.
And that's where the loophole is. Oh, the devil be getting everybody. Yep. Yep, you're nailing it on the head. Yep. It is good to collaborate, work with, even love these entities, but to idolize them like the all, you're fucking up. Excuse my French.
It's all right.
That's very important to realize.
Yeah.
These deities don't want you to realize that because they get a lot of power from full devotion. But if you yourself want to grow, you have to come to this realization. That's why I like Thoth. That's why I have the utmost respect for him, because he's one of the few gods where he'll sit down with you and like, nah, look, homie. I am not omniscient, omnipotent, etc. I'm just a little bit ahead of you. That's where
I'm not afraid of, or I don't have any fear of insulting anybody or embarrassing anybody or downplaying anybody else's ideas. That's your business if you feel that way about what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
What I am saying, though, is that open your hearts and minds and consider that if I want to do a ritual to honor Aphrodite, it's not because I see an object or a woman, an actual physical being called Aphrodite. I could still take time to dedicate thoughts of gratitude, appreciation, love for the experience of her energy in my life. Okay, any one of these gods can be viewed from that perspective in my way of thinking things. What I will, and I can light a candle and pray that the energy of Thor comes in, or the energy of Zeus comes in, or the energy of Jesus, anything that I want to bring in, because I want that connection with that energetic being and show my love and gratitude and appreciation. I can light a candle, I can write an incense. There's a big difference between doing that and praying that you will deliver me into a certain state of beingness, that you will save me from harm, making them the object of my focus to the extent that I see them outside of myself and lose connection with my ability to do all that myself with their help, with their energy, with their intent, combining their thoughts with mine, because they've already been through the highest levels of initiation. That's why they're able to do what they do.
Yeah.
But if I start viewing them as my savior, or the only way I can get from point A to point B in my life is by bowing down and worshiping and praying, that's not what they want. And that's not what this is about. So I don't mean to be offensive, but you're taking that offense. I'm just trying to share with you that the true meaning of what a God really is. So, sorry, Nick.
No, you're good. That's a really good point to make, and it's very important, because I make the same point. So, yeah, it's a hard pill to swallow for a lot of people, but it needs to be said.
Yes.
And if they're getting offended, to me, that's a good thing, because that means they're learning.
We are the God source within. We are the God source.
Yep.
We're just connecting to different aspects.
We're already there.
Yep.
Yeah.
And like I said, I'm not saying don't be in sync or like working with these entities. Just just don't get obsessed and over idolize them and all that stuff.
Don't lose yourself in it.
Yeah, don't lose yourself.
Right.
Remember, you have power too.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, don't treat yourself like an object to be used.
Yes.
Many are not ready, so they must be protected from this blinding illumination of spiritual and mental awareness. No different with how I expressed caution on the Demi-God stage. This one just being at a far greater degree. The stage is to be kept short for this reason. Rest assured, O student, that when your eyes are ready to gaze upon the sacred flame, it will no longer be hidden from you. The truth in symbols. And we see the symbol again. We go a little bit more in depth into what it is. So there are truths that can't be expressed effectively through words, so we use symbols to express it the best we can. These symbols are here for those who want to pierce deeper into the mysteries of the three higher planes, the symbols shown earlier in the higher planes hinting at the nature of these things. These three are blended with one another, and there are 4 regions within this blend. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Number 1 is its own region, which is these sections where A, B, and C are. And then blending with the first neighbor, which okay, so what, BC, then AC, then AB, and its other corresponding neighbors. So as you can see, each plane is blending with both. They have BC and AB. C has AC, BC, A has AB, AC. And then the fourth being the middle that creates a triune space of all three planes, which is signifies here at ABC.
Yep.
This arrangement also furnishes us 7 different regions that have been branded with A, B, C, or a combination of 2, and all 3 in the middle. Let them who wishes to, for the light, solve the riddle of this symbol. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Remember that 7 is important. I'll leave it at that.
Well, it's a blending of the 7 states of consciousness. We exist in all of those states.
Yep. But it's with the higher 3 that have the self-awareness and the cosmic awareness. So
right.
And it gets a little bit more complicated. So there's a lot of profound truths. I've started digging into it a little bit. It got a little overwhelming, so I took a break, but I'll figure it out.
Right on. Yeah.
So, and these are my final thoughts.
Okay.
Enjoy the ride while it is here, for it is not forever. Indeed, O man, don't let impatience or yearning for godhood make you miss the beauty of being human. Do not let your thirst for knowledge and wisdom turn into obsession or power struggles. Keep thy intentions of curiosity pure, and you will surely be given the answers you seek. Do not idolize. Instead, collaborate, for submitting to a different power stunts your own personal growth.
Yes.
Demi-gods and gods are here to serve just as much as they are here to hold authority and to be respected. With great power comes great responsibility. Do not let such blinding powers lead you astray, O man, for not every disciple, prophet, etc. has your best interest, some even expressing the exact opposite of your best interest. To find your power of ascension, you must go within. I will drill this into every single one of your heads as many times as I got to. You got to go within. The involution to obtain the evolution. If you've gotten anything out of this, remember that.
Amen, brother.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone needs to do this to begin the demigodhood. Do not just take my word for it. Experience the truth I am sharing and embody it. The best thank you I could get out of this is seeing people obtain what I am preaching, as that would be a physical manifestation and proof of me being an exceptional teacher who is going down the same path of the likes of Thoth and Hermes. I will be eager to hear your story and experiences, much like how you have been letting me share mine. Namaste, seeker of wisdom, and thank you for giving me your time in this class. This concludes part 3 of the series.
Beautiful.
Thank
Wonderful.
you, Nick.
Yes.
Awesome. Awesome.
Steve says, thanks for all the great information, Nick. That's beautiful.
Welcome,
love it. Yes, I'm really loving this. So I wanted to share something with you guys. So the scene that's behind me is called the Rosicrucian Park, and it hosts a museum, a research library, and a planetarium, as well, many other things. I'm going to share this with you. So when I was doing my research, I came across, and I'm going to do a share screen. I came across this, and I didn't know that this was a thing. But in San Jose, California, it's called the Rosicrucian Park. And it has the largest collection of ancient Egyptian artifacts on display in Western North America, including objects from the pre-dynastic times through Egypt's early Islamic era, as well as Assyrian and Babylonian artifacts. Fascinating. They also have an alchemy museum as well, and it's part of creating the new alchemy museum at the Rosicrucian Park. So this is a real place. This exists. It's available. It's out there in San Jose. They also have a labyrinth that you can walk through the gardens.
Oh, this is cool.
Yeah, it's fascinating.
Probably secret school.
There's more than 2,500 new trees and brushes, plants in the Rosicrucian Park, and many that attract and provide habitat for local birds and butterflies. So it's serving so many different levels. It's the Peace Garden is stunning, educational garden, which is authentic to the 18th dynasty of ancient Egypt. It also serves as a model for drought-tolerant gardening. Fascinating. There's also a grand temple through an impressive foyer, and it's an elaborate murals and beautiful statuary. And I like this quote from Confucius: "I am not one who was born in the possession of knowledge. I am one who is fond of antiquity and earnest in seeking it there." That was cool. I like that. And then you've got the Peace Garden that you can go through, which is a very cool place to go. Massive garden, pools, cool spot for relaxation, contemplation, habitat for fish, lotus plants. They even have the lotus plants. So it's interesting. They have a planetarium as well, but it's not open quite yet. They're still working on it. But
it's awesome looking. Look at that.
It's thing. A Moorish design honoring the important contributions of the Arab astronomers. Is the 5th planetarium built in the United States. So that's in the works. And then they also have a massive, we're going for sure. There's a massive research library as well. The Rosicrucian Research Library is closed through September 14th, but they'll be open later around the 20th. And the collection of the Rosicrucian Research Library began in 1916. And the current building, which is of Egyptian design, was constructed in 1939. And it's dedicated to the pursuit of Rosicrucian knowledge. The Rosicrucian Research Library contains a remarkable collection of books and other research materials on most esoteric subjects, as well as cultural, scientific, and other fascinating materials. So if you ever get a chance, if you live in the area or you have an opportunity to go, I highly suggest you do so.
Yeah, this place looks really cool. Wish it was around when I was going on my road trip.
Yeah. But didn't know it existed. When I was doing some research, I came across it and was just fascinated by it. Teresa?
Do they have classes there?
Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
Okay, so this is like the modern mystery school, like we picked up with the Camp Chesterfield.
Yep, that's exactly what it reminded me of.
It has a lot of the same features. They're just very similar in their purpose.
Yep.
To create that environment in that space. They have a lot of the same. They don't have a planetarium, but they have a library. They have their own. They have their own chapel. They call it the chapel instead of the temple. They have the labyrinth. They have the museum. The museum. For spirituality. So it allows you to roam that space and get that sense of connectivity and connectiveness. But they also have the classes.
I bet that
the initiates.
Yes. So there are places where all of this information still exists, and you're able to tap into that. But I think going there and having a physical representation of everything would be fascinating.
I do too. I can't wait.
I just thought I'd share that with you because I found it to be fascinating. So, yeah. Well, excellent. So, Nick, we are. So, is Nick, do you have more information for us for next week? Are we doing a part 4?
Oh, yeah. Next part we'll start off of it's part 9, the sevenfold soul of man.
Okay.
That's where we're going to start off next
Fantastic.
week. I cut it into sections like the book did. It's in 13 parts. So next week we'll be on 9 out of 13. So
So we will have a part
episodes.
4, 5 and 6.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe 7. The last part is kind of long, and it goes into like the 7 principles, like Hermetics do. They just call it slightly different. That might be a whole episode by itself, but it depends how much I can condense it or not. But we'll see. So.
Well, we can also do a break in between a couple of them too, if you need more time with your research. You don't feel like you have to do it every week. We could do something else in between.
Well, I'm game if you are, Nick. So
yeah. So far, I'm good.
You want to keep plugging away? Let's do it, because we'll always have this series, and I think it's really important. So
yeah. Like I said, I have a lot of downtime right now, so I'm using that.
Take advantage of it. Do mindfulness.
Yep.
Till you figure out what you want to do. Yep. You got it. So we're very appreciative that you have the time.
Hold that bottle up you're drinking out of again.
Or this one?
Yeah.
What about it?
I could have sworn it would look like a baby's bottle.
Oh, well, I mean, as a...
Well, you could call it his sippy cup.
Yeah.
That's what I call mine.
Sippy cup. I stole it from her.
Nick has a sippy cup.
And look, he has no problems at being pink. See?
No.
That's a big sippy cup.
Yeah. Anyway, all right, you guys. Well, we are 2 hours into this. So, gosh, everyone, we hope you got a lot out of this. It's just been very fascinating, and it puts everything into a new perspective. Just so many ways to look at ascension and the process that you go through and your connections, and it's amazing. So I'm very thankful and grateful for the time and energy that Nick has been putting into this. It's very beneficial. And Nick, know that this will always be out there. So people will be able to refer to this in the future as well.
Yeah, maybe in 200 years from now, I'll be a god.
Teresa said something. What was it today? You said, "Oh, thank God," about something. And I said, "Oh, you're welcome." That was funny.
You're welcome.
Yeah, it was so cool.
But listen, thank you. It was nice to meet you, Spiderbite. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for commenting, coming in, and everyone.
Juan Paul, and it's just a pleasure having you folks join
Lucky
us.
Stone, all of you guys.
And comments.
Mary Wins, Chloe. We missed you tonight, Scotty boy. So if you're rewatching this, we do miss it when you're not here, but it's good that you're headed to Texas. So right on. So anyway, we look forward to seeing all of you next week, and look forward to more information from Nick as well. And we hope you all have a wonderful weekend and do something nice, not only for yourself, first and foremost, but do something nice for someone else too. Just even a simple compliment. But show some love to the collective, and that always makes me feel good. So I enjoy doing that, but do that. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and say goodnight. You all enjoy the rest of the weekend, and we look forward to seeing you all next week. Okay?
All right.
Namaste, everyone. Namaste.
Bye, everybody. Take care.
Good night.